Okay. So can you hear me clearly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, good, good. And how old are you, if you don't mind me
I'm
asking?
16.
Oh, 16. Okay. And you're currently enrolled in school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great. And in school, do you get to use Zoom for your online classes?
No, we use Google Meet.
Okay, so Google Meet. So but this isn't the first time that you're using
Yeah,
Zoom, right?
yeah.
Okay, good, good. All right. So I actually sent the link to the Google Classroom for the files that you will actually require you need for this class now. So
I
uh
already entered the classroom.
okay, great. So so my name is Kat, so I'll be your instructor for the next 4 Saturdays, no? So what you will actually learn out of this class is actually what's listed here, no? So today we'll probably skip, this isn't the first PCCI class, right, that you've taken.
Yeah,
You've
it's
taken Photoshop before.
yeah.
Okay, good, good. So we can skip on the orientation part then. So today it's gonna be a bit light. We're just gonna talk about Adobe Illustrator overview. Um, just get ourselves familiar with the workspace in Illustrator workspace, and then in terms of how to get started, no, with a new file. No, since you've already taken Photoshop, then it's a bit easy to get used to Illustrator, no. So because in terms of how it looks, practically the interface or the workspace is the same, no.
Mm.
There are certain differences in terms of how tools behave, as well as how layers work in particular, no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so on the second day, that's where we get to the exciting part, which is drawing. Okay, do
Mhm.
you actually draw freehand?
No, I don't.
You don't. Okay, that's fine. um but you've edited photos in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now the huge difference between the use of Illustrator and Photoshop is really you will draw from scratch, no?
Mm.
In Illustrator. Okay. So we'll get to talk about how the tools work, and then how you can actually start creating something, no? So even if you don't draw, no, like me, I graduated not from a fine arts or multimedia course, but rather it's human resources, no. So when I started in learning Illustrator, it was only because it was required of my job, no. So I worked in a call center for Adobe. I used to be an Adobe technical support engineer. So I accept calls, help people with their Adobe programs, and I was forced to learn it. And then that's when I took interest, when I slowly had to learn Adobe Illustrator. And I realized that even if I did not have any professional or formal classes in terms of drawing, you can actually do something still using the program. So I'll show you those things now. On the third day and fourth day, we'll switch um to have a better transition in terms of how you learn, no, the program. So from drawing basics, then we'll move towards manipulating artwork. So we'll talk about a couple of effects, no, and also a couple of tools that will help you, enhance whatever you have created in the first place, no, using the basic drawing tools. Then we move forward to applying the colors and text. No, what else can you do with text? So what grade are you now? Are you in high school?
Yeah. Grade 11.
Grade 11. Oh gosh. And then grade 12, and then you graduate, right?
Yeah.
College. Wow. Okay. And what are you planning to take in college?
Maybe business management, but like, yeah, business track. Yeah.
Okay, business track. All right, that's good. Okay. All right. So today, again, we'll cover a couple of the basic concepts that you'll need to understand. We'll understand also what Illustrator has to offer, and then again the workspace, no, and then saving files, no, and then there's actually an assignment for you for next Saturday, no,
Mm-hmm.
so you'll have to
So,
show me.
Shopify app, I did trial first. Muna. I did the trial. Is that okay? Or like, should I get the real thingy?
Okay, since we have 4 weeks, no, then you'll have to get eventually the full version. Mm.
But for today, it's okay, right?
Yeah, for today it's okay.
Okay.
Mm. So, okay, so that means that, all right, so that means you have the latest version, which is fine. Okay, good. So, I'm sorry. So Tiffany, no, said Tiffany. Okay, 16 years old, and then what made you did your parents make you take this class, or it's actually an interest?
Oh, because like for school, we're like required to do like 7 activities, any activity we want to do. And so this is what I chose to learn graphic designing because like in school,
Okay.
there are times that we have to design posters and
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I want
Okay, then that's good, that's good. At least you'll be able to use what you have learned, no? Okay, that's good. And I think from a business, if let's say you're taking a business track, no, so if whether you're gonna try and apply for a job in the corporate world, or come up with your own business, I think that this graphic design would, in terms of the skills that you will learn, would still prove useful,
Mhm.
especially in line with business, no, so you can come up with some ideas, make really impressive presentations and whatnot. So which is good. Okay, good. All right, so there's a video that I'd like you to watch. I won't share it here because my experience in the past is that it staggers.
Mm.
So I'd like to direct you to the Google Classroom. There's a video there that I uploaded. Let me just share my screen real quick. Oh, sorry. All right. So in Classroom, there's this one. No. So
Okay.
okay. So that takes about 6 minutes. Let me know if you're done watching it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
good. So what have you learned out of that video?
So like Illustrator is it's like the artworks are vector based
That's right.
and then so they're not pixelated when you zoom in. Be scalable
Right.
and it's good for
Okay.
logos and illustrations while Photoshop is for photos only.
Yeah, so that's mainly the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator, no? So if let's say you are to create a poster, no, for school, and it's more of line drawings that you will actually need to integrate or incorporate in your design, then you'll have to decide using or design using Adobe Illustrator. But
Mhm.
if it's something that let's say you have a project in school where it would require a couple of photos that you'll have to like cut out the background, for example, no, and then add text to it and whatnot, then you'll have to use Photoshop, no. um so with vector, the thing is it's very nice in terms of quality, right? So it's scalable, right? So whether you make it small, you make it a lot bigger, you don't lose the quality. The downside of that is, if it was mentioned in the video that it's really good for logos and illustrations, um what is the advantage of raster images and using Photoshop?
It's like you can edit the photos, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm. And what is that characteristic of photos that you cannot capture in vector?
I don't remember.
Actually, it wasn't mentioned there. so so I just wanted to make you think a bit, no, na if we're talking about vector, what was mentioned in the video is it's good for logos and illustrations,
Mhm.
right? So I know ang characteristics. What are the characteristics of logos that you see out there, and also illustrations? What do you notice?
Lines, they have lines, and yeah,
That, that's right. It's mainly lines, and most of the time, in terms of colors, are they solid colors or gradients?
solid.
Solid, right? So that is the downside, or that's the limitation when it comes to vector graphics. No?
Mm,
Whereas for rasters, because it is built, it's like a puzzle. No, if we're talking about raster images, it's like a puzzle. You have those to think of the pixels as your puzzle pieces, and then you put them together and it builds this very complex no
yeah.
image. So when I say complex, it's the realistic photos, the photos that you take with your cell phone, no, because it has a lot of shades in terms of colors, right, to make it look realistic.
Yes.
And that is not something that you can achieve using vector.
Mm,
Okay. And
mhm.
that's the reason why it was highlighted na vector graphics are mainly used for illustrations like graphic novels, no, or comics, no, line arts, infographics, no,
Mhm.
logos, no, very very um, commonly used type of graphic, no. So there. So that's so you have to think of what your output is. So let's say you have a project, you need to identify already what kind of artwork do you actually need in that project, no? Because it will help you decide between using Illustrator and Photoshop. Okay. Now, let's say you have photos, but you want a couple of things that are line drawings, no, so you want to merge both of them. Okay, your last step will always be to move everything into Photoshop.
Oh, so create all the text first and then bring it to Photoshop and then you edit.
Yes. So you have more flexibility when it comes to editing. Okay,
Mm.
because you have photos inside, okay, or raster images, right? So what's an example of, was it taught in Photoshop? Like, what are examples of raster formats, file formats?
The Photoshop, not Photoshop. Is that
PSD, yeah, the dot PSD, right? The file extension. JPEGs are also a very common example of file format. Bitmap, no, PNG.
mm,
Okay, if it's if it's vector, okay, the files, the types of files that can support vector informations are Adobe Illustrator. So that's .ai.
mm,
Okay, .ait, which means Adobe Illustrator template. Okay, so we'll talk about that. And then PDF, that's most common, no, and EPS. Okay, so EPS stands for Encapsulated PostScript. Okay, so I sent the second. There's another video that we should watch. No, so I added it here in the chat group. But let's talk more about the raster versus vector. No, so there's a nice video. I think it's just 2 minutes now. So just watch that video and then let me know once you're done. It's also in
What
the
are
Google.
vector and raster graphics?
Yes, that's the one. Okay. Something wrong with my internet connection. Okay, so are you done with the video?
Mm-mm.
So it was a really nice no, it's a very nice short video that fully, explains the difference between raster and vector. No? So um any questions do you actually have in mind about that video?
I saw like the file type. What's TIF?
TIF, it's stiff. Actually, no.
For
I
it's
don't.
for raster. Yeah.
It's also raster.
Mm.
So let me
And also like
stack image format. That's what it means. Normally, it's either TIFF with a single F, or sometimes it's written as TIFF with a double F.
whoa, okay. And then what's SVG?
Scalable vector graphics. So
Mm.
normally with scalable vector graphics, this is actually a file format where you can upload it in a browser for on-screen display.
Mm.
Um, that allows you to maintain, the quality, the essence of being a vector image, no. So when you save it in SVG, the downside of that, although it was actually mentioned, no, in the video, that it's one of the common, no, file formats. It requires, let's say you have a website, no, you have a website, and then you designed something, you saved it in SVG, or scalable vector graphics, no. For someone who will visit your website, they will need to have a plugin installed to be able to view it. So it requires a viewer, a plug, like Flash. I don't know if you've experienced that, like when you go to a website and then you cannot view something, or even an online game, no, because it requires a Flash plugin. It's
Yeah.
the same thing, no. So you won't be able to view the scalable vector graphic file if it was saved in that file format, unless you have the plugin.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the downside. Although, regardless what the monitor's resolution is, if you open that scalable vector graphic, it's really in good quality. No, it's still gonna retain its smoothness, because the thing is, Tiffany, for example, you design something. Okay, so you design, let's say, a poster, no, and you were asked to upload that in Facebook. Okay, you cannot upload a PDF formatted file, right? Because it won't display right away. It may just show like as an attachment, if let's say it's in a Facebook group, no. Can you actually upload PDFs in Instagram? No, right? So the idea is you're gonna create a poster that's gonna be posted in, let's say, in Facebook as an image, as well as in Instagram. Then you'll have to save whatever you have created in Illustrator as a raster image that can be recognized in those two platforms,
Mm. Okay.
right? So what does Facebook and Instagram accept in terms of pictures?
Just images, right?
Yeah, images, right? So it may be JPEG or PNG. I know PNG, they also accept it, no? So that means that even if you have created something really nice in Illustrator, and you want to preserve, the smoothness of the lines, no, at the end of the day you'll have to save it in JPEG. So that means it will convert to raster. Then when you
Mm.
zoom in
Can you
in
do that in
Yes, in Illustrator, you can. So you'll have to export it. Okay. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Even in Photoshop, there's a crossover in terms of its features. No, in Photoshop, you actually have the option to save in PDF, right?
Yes.
In PDF format. So same with Illustrator, you have the choice of saving it in a raster format like JPEG, TIFF, no, PNG. Okay. But does that mean that you can still open the same file and be able to edit everything? No, because
Mm-hmm.
it's already flattened as an image. No, but you
So,
do have that option.
mm-hmm.
Okay. So in those kinds of in that kind of scenario, no, the best practice is always save the original copy in Illustrator format,
Mm-hmm.
and then just create another copy in either raster format, no? So either JPEG, PNG, TIFF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If in the event that you actually need to post it somewhere on screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions? What else do you have?
Mm, it says, no, I just wanted to clarify, like it
Yeah.
has very small file size compared to Photoshop, right? I mean,
Yes.
Master.
That's
That's
right.
because it only contains the mathematical equation.
That's right. So pixels actually occupy space.
Mm.
So that results to the more pixels you actually have in a file, it would definitely result to a bigger file size.
Mm.
But with vector, because they are created out of mathematical instructions, it's like coding, no? So it doesn't eat a lot of or occupy a lot of space. So that definitely results to lower file size.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else? That's a really good question.
Mm. No, no more.
No more. Okay, good. So we'll proceed to the Illustrator workspace. No? So make sure that you download this files. And then on the following the next meeting that we'll have, just make sure that you also download all these files. It's the same way as you've downloaded the files from your Photoshop class,
Mm.
right? So
Would it be okay if like I downloaded the time you asked so that I don't mess up like the
yeah,
time?
sure, sure, sure. So have you if you could create a folder, no, just specifically for this class, then you can, save those files there, no, inside. So you're organizing all the files, no. So we'll work on this. Let's take a 5-minute break first, no. So to give you some time to download the files. So these three files first.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right. So were you able to download the files?
Yeah, but oh, I was gonna ask for the PDF. Since it's the instruction, do I have to download it or is it okay?
Well, it's okay if you don't want to download it. That's fine. Hmm.
Okay, okay. I downloaded the tour AI.ai one.
Okay, great. All right. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna demonstrate what's in the PDF file. All
Mm-hmm.
right, and then after that, you'll have an activity. No, so you've already downloaded the file, then that's fine. Just take down notes as I do the demonstration. No? And then I'll give you time to do it on your own. If you want to share your screen while you're doing it, that's fine. Or you may also share your screen if you have a question.
Okay.
And once you're done. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. So let me just open my Illustrator. Okay. All right. So you should see my Adobe Illustrator. In your case, when you open Adobe Illustrator, what happens is you have a home page, no? In my case, I have a lower version. So it goes straight into this workspace, no? So on your main page, you should see. Do you have Adobe Illustrator open?
Not yet, but I'll open it.
Okay, so just open it, and I'll stop my screen share, and I want you to share your screen once you have the program open without opening any file yet. Mm.
Like A. Oh, do I do like A4?
Okay, could you share your screen now?
Okay.
Mm. So I'll see what you see.
There.
Okay, there. All right. So just close that first. Close it first. Okay. So on the screen, just so you're familiar, no, with what you actually see on in front of you. So here, normally on the top part, let me just open my annotate. Okay. So this one is really good, no, from time to time. As long as you're connected to the internet, then this actually shows you a couple of videos, no, tutorials, no, and once in a while they would actually update that. So it's a good continuous learning for you, no. Um, this one is also over here, no. So when you click on learn, you also get a more extensive page, no, that has all the video tutorials, and those are free. You don't have to pay for them. Okay. And then because you have the, let's say, if you have already subscribed or paid for the applications, then you're entitled to have an Adobe access to the Adobe Cloud. So some files you may want to like save it, so that if, let's say, you transfer from one computer to another or another device, or you're in school and you want to gain access or open certain files that you've worked at home without having to bring your laptop or a USB drive, you can also store them in the cloud, no, that's allocated for you when you subscribe to the Adobe program. Okay. Now, in terms of creating, if you are to create something from scratch, no, there's two ways of, actually three ways of doing that, but this is one, no, or this is also another one, no. So here you get to see a couple of presets that's already available for you, no, and there's more to the presets, no. You have to click on this section, and it will open the document window, no. um if you are to open an existing file, okay, so this is the option that you actually have, no. But there are more ways of doing that. Okay, so let's try to click on open, and then let's try to open that file that I asked you to download. Okay, good. So you're using Mac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's loading.
All right.
There.
Okay. So, since you're done with Photoshop, okay, maybe you can initially walk me through what are the similarities with Photoshop and Illustrator. Like, for example, uh, what do you normally call this, no, in Photoshop?
The toolbar.
That's right. So it's the same, no, in Illustrator. So you have your toolbar on this side, right?
Mhm.
And then what do you call the ones on this side?
That's the
Okay. Could you click on this one first, remind later, so that it doesn't appear? Okay, good. So this side, this is also similar to Photoshop, right? Because the on the on the right side, these are called panels.
Panels. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So left side would actually have all the tools that you require, and then on the right side you would have panels. No, they support whatever you actually use in terms of tools. Okay. So um you are not restricted to. So how many panels do we actually see here? You have one, two, and three.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have, it's showing up three panels. No, what what happens if you no? Let me take a step back. So all the panels that you see here, you will see under the window menu. So on top of your screen, you should see menus. Do you see
Mhm.
menus?
Yes.
Okay, so you should have file, object, right? Edit,
Uh-huh.
view, no, effects, right? And then windows, no. So if let's say you need a panel that's not displaying on this side, no. This is actually this entire thing. It's called a panel dock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may add panels to it. You may remove panels that you know you don't need,
Yes.
right? So it's the same with Photoshop, right? You can add or remove panels. Okay. So if you click on the window menu, you will actually see this parts, no? This section, no? These are actually all panels.
Oh.
Okay. So every time you click this section, um, it will make a panel appear. No, so let's try to choose artboards. This one. Okay, see what happens.
Mm.
Okay, so what you do is you click drag this tab. No, move it here. There is. Did you see that blue thing appear? No, it
Mm.
means that it's gonna stick to that. Okay, it's gonna go inside. No, that's how it works. Okay. Now, if you don't need this, so in our class, we don't actually need this other panel that you actually opened, no? So this window, this panel would have this X button. You can just click on that. Okay. So in case that you actually need it back, then you always go back to the window menu
Mm.
and then look for it, okay, to make it appear again. Okay, so let's say this libraries, we don't need this for our class, so click drag it away from the dock. There you go, and
Um,
then close it.
okay.
There you go. Okay, so again, this is the panel dock. Anything that you want to add are under the window menu, and then anything that you can remove, you can always go back to the window menu and make them appear again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this two arrows that you normally see, sorry,
Yes.
yeah, this allows you to collapse. No, you can collapse and expand
Mm.
the panels. No, same with the toolbar. Okay, on the toolbar you also see that. No, so it's either it's going to display as a single column or two columns. No, again, it depends on what you're comfortable with. Me, I'm comfortable with two columns because that's how Illustrator initially started with. No, some people would prefer a single column, just so they have more space in terms of their file, no, in terms of displaying their actual file. Now, this actual section is called document frame. Okay, so on top what you would normally see is the file name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then at what magnification level it's displaying. Okay. And there is also a mention of what color mode. So there's RGB. There are only two options in photo in Illustrator. It's RGB or CMYK. Was it mentioned in your Photoshop class what RGB stands for?
Oh,
No.
RGB just red, green, blue, or no?
That's right. That's right. And then CMYK.
We didn't discuss that one.
Okay, but are you aware what the letters stand for?
No, like I've
No.
heard of it.
Okay. So RGB, you're right. It's red, green, and blue. Okay. And normally that color mode is associated with on-screen display. Okay. So for example, your cell phone, your tablet, your monitor, your television, okay, those actually use light, right, to produce images, no? As what you see on your screen. So it's on-screen display. Okay. CMYK is associated with printing. Okay. If you have a printer at home, no, some desktop printers would have individual inks. No, one is black, which is actually K, and then you have cyan ink, magenta ink, yellow ink, and then black ink. No, some desktop printers, meaning for home use, no, would only have two types of inks, right? You have color and in terms of cartridges, no, that you put inside your printer. No, so if it's something that you will have to um, if the project is something that you will have to print, then the file that you should have should you should use the CMYK mode. So that means that if it's in CMYK mode, the colors that will initially display by default will be in CMYK. So when you print it, as much as possible, the accuracy of what you see on screen will be the same in terms of printing it on paper. Whether
Mm-hmm.
on paper, on sticker paper, as long as it uses a printer, no, CMYK.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, if it's something that needs to be posted or shared, for example, it's something that you will present to your teacher, no, while doing your screen share or in Google Meet, no, you share your project, then the color mode that you will need to start with is RGB.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. Okay. Now, what happens, teacher, if I need to create a project that needs to be printed at the same time shown on screen? Okay. Which one do I use? Okay. So when it comes to that, then you'll always have to start with CMYK.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. You save it all the time in CMYK. Why? Because it will be hard to produce RGB colors and make them printed as accurate as possible. Okay. So just an example, no? I have another student. Sorry. Mano, you're too loud. Mano, you're too loud. Later, I have a class. Sorry, I have a 6-year-old playing Roblox. Okay, so I actually have a student who does wellness posters. So and then focuses on meditation practices and whatnot. So she needed to create some calendars, no, and she wanted bright colors. Okay, very bright colors, no. So she used RGB, And then when it comes to printing, they kept on trying to print it, retaining the brightness of the colors, and they could not.
Mm.
Okay. Now remember, if you'll notice, no, when you try to print something that has white, does it actually print white?
No.
No, right? So it's as if it's just retaining the color of the paper. No, it doesn't
Mm.
print white. Okay, because they CMYK is considered as subtractive colors. No, it keeps on overlapping amounts of ink, and it darkens all the time. It darkens. So the bright, and while RGB uses light,
Mm.
okay, it uses light to produce. So you have a red light, a green light, and a blue light. And when you put the colors together, those lights together, no, with different intensities. Okay, so let's say 50% of red, um, in terms of brightness of the light, no, so red would have like 50%, green would have 20%, and then 80% for blue, no, you merge them together and they produce a different color, right? So
Mhm.
if you cannot reproduce brightness in printing,
Mm.
because paper absorbs ink, right? So it's just like white colors, because it's very light, it doesn't end up like printing the light colors.
Mm.
Okay? But it's dependent on the medium, which means when I say medium, it's the paper, know how the paper absorbs the ink and whatnot. Okay? So again, the best practice is all you have to remember is when it comes to projects that you will need to both print and display on screen, then the best practice would be in CMYK mode. Okay,
So
because
RGB is bright and then CMYK is dark.
that's right.
Okay.
Mm-mm. That's the best and easiest way to explain it without having to deal with technical terms. Now,
Mhm.
you may also want to double check RGB versus CMYK. I can post a video on that, but you can also do some reading or research on it. No, so normally for RGB, it's there's a more technical definition, but they're commonly known as additive.
Mm.
Additive colors. As you add the colors together, they produce light, no, light colors. And then for subtractive, when you put everything together, they produce white. I sorry. With CMYK, they are called subtractive colors. When you add everything together, it produces black. Okay, so it darkens. Okay, so
What happened to the student? Like if she wanted to print bright
she
colors.
ended up with whatever was printed. That's it. She could not produce it the way she wanted it. So
Mm.
she asked me for a recommendation, and then what I told her is she'll have to recreate the colors using CMYK.
Mm.
Mm-mm,
Okay.
mm-mm.
Okay. So CMYK retains the original color.
Yes. Mm-mm, mm-mm,
Okay. How do you
mm-mm.
change that?
Okay. So to change that, when you hold on, let me let me just check that. No, it's when you create your. It is actually part of the first step when you create your document. Okay, so when you create your document, you go. Remember that document window, new document window that
Create new?
there, create new. Okay, here. Okay.
Oh.
So here, Yeah, so you get to choose the color mode, no, on the right side. There you go. So you have two options here, RGB or CMYK.
Mm.
All right.
Is this also applicable for Photoshop?
For Photoshop, let me just quickly double check. Actually, there's a couple more color modes for Photoshop. Eh.
Maybe I can open the Photoshop thing. Oh, here.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for Photoshop, it's a bit different. You have bitmap, you have grayscale, you have RGB, CMYK, and lab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not quite sure about bitmap and lab, but definitely for grayscale, it's those black and white, right? Black and white images. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. But for Photoshop, rarely do you actually save files in CMYK.
Rarely.
Rarely. Rarely do you actually do that. Mm. And I'll tell you why when it comes to saving files, no. When it comes to okay.
Is it because like in Photoshop you don't? Oh.
No, because how are photos produced?
Mm.
Mm. So how are photos produced? It requires a device, right? You cannot
Mm.
draw it from scratch. Rarely do you do that if we're talking about realistic photos. So you take it with a device. No, so it can be an SLR, it can be a camera taking a photo, and most of the time that's what you use Photoshop for. So you take a photo of yourself, for example, or the family, or a landscape, okay, or during vacation, no, you take a photo using your camera. Sometimes in school, if you were in school physically, you would take photos of your classmates, right, using your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and those are devices that uses light, right, to take the photos. So in normally in terms of best practice, it would have to be in RGB color.
Mm.
Okay, in the RGB color mode, simply because you don't want to change um uh drastically, no, the colors that the device actually stored in the first place.
Mm. Okay.
Okay. So rarely do you use CMYK, especially if you're already going to put together a couple of photos. No, unless you are drawing from scratch in Photoshop, then that's the best time to, create a new document in CMYK color.
Mm-hmm. So, but like if you needed to print in Photoshop, you use RGB. Is that okay?
Yes. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's like
But
go back.
what you need to consider though when it comes to printing photos is remember where are you looking at in terms of viewing the photos. If let's say it's in the cell phone, no, you sometimes I personally adjust the brightness of my phone. So
Mm.
you also need to consider that, no, like it's not all the time that um even if you see the picture on your screen and it's really light or bright, no, and then you have it printed, you don't get 100% accuracy because it depends on what your display settings are.
Mm.
Okay, so you also need to consider that. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky.
Mm.
No,
Mm.
because even with your monitor, if you have those what's that, protective screens added to your monitor, or you've adjusted even the simple display settings of your monitor, it may also alter. how an image look, no, visually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why normally, if we're talking about, if let's say you don't have a printer, no, at home, or you went to a shop that prints, no, let's say a printing shop, and then you go there, or you did it online. um Not so much in the Philippines though, but in the
Mm.
US they would always have that disclaimer.
Mm.
Mm-mm. That okay, whatever you send, whatever you see on screen may be different or may vary from the printed output. Okay, so normally you'd have that disclaimer, no, because of all the factors that need to be considered. Okay, so from a professional standpoint, okay, if I were doing something that needs to be printed, so for example, just a brochure, no, what normally happens is before it gets to print like 100, or the printer would print 100 copies of the brochure that I designed, they would give me what we call a proof. Okay, a proof. So that's a term, no? So a proof is just a sample print.
Mm.
So you'll have to approve it, no? So once you approve it, that's the time that they will print multiple copies of it. No,
Mm.
if in case, let's say, the color is different from what I expect, I'd tell them. And the printers, especially the large kinds of printers, no, they can adjust the values for
Mm.
each color. So they will try and match whatever you actually want. No, they will keep on adjusting that. No, so that's manually done.
Mm.
No, sometimes they use software to try and adjust per color, to try and darken it, to lighten it. Depending on the values. And normally those are people who have experience when it comes to colors. No.
Mm. Yeah.
Mm-mm. So that's already like on an expert level. All right. So, from a graphic designer standpoint, or at least from based on what you actually need, we just stick to the basics. If it's photos and you're working in Photoshop, just use RGB so
Mm.
that it doesn't mess up the colors that you originally see on screen. No, not much of a difference. Okay, very lang, minimal difference. But when you start working in Illustrator and you have line drawings, no,
Mm.
created in Illustrator, start with CMYK.
Okay.
Okay. And if you need to merge them together, basta you just have to consider how the output or the end project will be used. No, is it gonna be on screen or gonna be printed or both? Then best practice would be in CMYK.
Mhm.
Okay. If you are to, let's say, have multiple copies of it, or you need to send it to a printer, a professional printer to have it printed, just ask for proofs, okay, before you have it done. And they should agree to that. That's at least a normal practice, even in the Philippines.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
was,
right. Yes.
so if we create new document that it's like CMYK, but like if we open something inside, will that be automatically CMYK?
Um, yes. That's why you may see like some slight changes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it depends on the colors, because have you guys been taught about color spectrums?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just imagine that the CMYK color spectrum is slightly overlaps with the RGB color spectrum. Okay, so depending on the photos or images that you already have, if there are colors that's outside the CMYK color spectrum and you put it inside that RGB image, you put it inside a CMYK, it will try to interpret what would be the nearest color. So
Mm.
in terms of that, then you'll see some slight changes. But if your images, the colors in your images, in originally RGB, um, are overlapping with CMYK, then chances are you may not see any difference at all. But you will, so kaya kasi so it may overlap at certain point, no, but this parts and this parts, they don't overlap, right? So if the image has some parts here,
Mhm.
CMYK will try to interpret based on the colors that it has available. Okay, so you'll see some differences. Pero if the images has all the colors the same, all the colors used in CMYK mode, then you won't see any differences. From our standpoint, no, you wouldn't even be able to distinguish that.
Oh.
Right? I mean, to determine that before you even start working on it or even opening the file, no, it's not something that's within our control because it's still dependent on what you have taken, no, what kind of picture you actually have in the first place. So it's
Mhm.
a bit tricky, though. Mm.
But like the one a while ago we opened, it was RGB. How do you change that to CMYK? Can you
Okay.
change that?
So to change that to CMYK, hold on, let me just open my. You should have. Okay, under the file, if you already have the file open, no, and then you want to switch from one color mode to another, it should be under the file menu. There's an option that says document color mode.
Oh. Ah, okay.
Yeah, you see that? There you go. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. All right. Now on the upper, okay. Any questions so far about that before we move to, customizing your workspace?
Yeah.
None. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So, we normally, well, I personally always start with a workspace simply because sometimes if you have so many images now on in front of you, no, some of uh the tools that you have here kasi you can expand. Okay, so if you see, I think this is also the same with Photoshop. Yeah. Okay. So if you see like a smaller white triangle this time, no, white triangle on the lower right hand side of your
Mhm.
tool, it means that you can expand it, right? And you
Mhm.
can tear it off. So try that. Hold down. There you go. And
Oh,
then this one is called the tear off. So you click this.
which one? Oh, this one.
Yes, that's one. So this one, no, it expands, right? And then you can just close it if you don't want to, or just collapse it to smaller icons, no. But if you start working, no, you'll realize now you will see yourself like opening multiple tools, no, and it will clutter your space, right?
Yeah.
Unless you actually click on close, no, you keep closing each one after use. But for me, I've never done that. I keep on like opening multiple tools at the same time, no. And you want to reset. Okay, so you want to go back to the clean workspace. On the upper right hand side of your corner, this one, you click this. Okay, so those are workspace presets. So currently you have essential selected, but you can try painting, for example. Choose painting. Okay, there you go. So what it will do is it will display all the panels that you may actually need. Okay.
Mm.
So those are presets that you actually see on this one. Okay, it's called the workspace switcher. No, so
Mm.
depending on what you need, you have one that's specific for painting. If it's something that you will actually use for your project, you have the essentials. Now you have essentials classic. It means essentials classic is simply just trying to copy the essentials in the older version, so it will display um the workspace accordingly. You may also have automation. So when you click on the workspace, yeah, that one, the first one, no, automation. So automation, it would display also the panels that can be used for batch processing. No? So when you say batch processing, dealing with, let's say, multiple actions at the same time or multiple files, applying something at the same time, no, on multiple files. Now you also have typography. So if you're designing a text, no, you also have panels, or it will display the workspace accordingly. Okay. And at the same time, you can create your own workspace, what you're
Mm.
comfortable with. No? So this is the activity that you actually have no today. No? So we will do this. No workspace. Okay. So yeah, this will do, don't click anything yet, no? So when the first step here is you have to set up the workspace the way you want it displayed. Okay, so that's in terms of your control bar. This is also something that you actually had in Photoshop, right? The control bar. I don't know
Mm.
if you still remember. So, what does the control bar do? Do you remember in Photoshop?
The control bar is which one?
This one, the one on top.
Oh, that's like for the, it's like it controls the tools, right?
That's right. So whatever tool that you use and whatever object that you select, no, the control bar would give you some shortcut,
Uh,
parang shortcut options, no?
mhm. Like the
And those
brush.
short, yeah, and like the brush, no? So it would give you shortcut options that are relevant to what you are trying to use
Mm-hmm.
or select. Okay. So it keeps on updating depending on the tool that you use, depending on what you selected. Okay. So your work, you can choose to display this or not. Okay. You can choose to have two columns for your toolbar. You can add, remove panels over here. And then once you're happy with the way your workspace looks like, then that's the time that you click on the workspace switcher and then go to new workspace.
Oh,
Mm-mm. So you don't do it this way. No, you do this first and then you make the adjustments. It will try to save whatever you have on screen right now.
so adjustment first and then save.
Correct, correct. So your activity here, no,
Mhm.
okay. So your activity here is really to do just that, no? So what you need is you need four panels, no, appearing on the right side. You need so I'm referring to the workspace exercise instructions, no? So you will just need four: control, the control bar on top of the screen,
Mhm.
gradients, swatches, and artboards.
Okay.
Okay, so just those four. So that means that if I take a look at so you already have your control appearing here, so that's good, right?
Mm.
Now, you will need to remove color, right? You need to, so what did I say? Control, gradients, swatches, and artboards. That's it. The rest you remove. There you go.
Even the libraries.
Yes.
Oh, how about this one? The color.
Yeah, you'll remove everything. Mm-mm. Okay.
What are the things I have to add? Gradient.
Yes, gradient. But I think it's already here. Just, yeah, it's here. So you just drag this here.
Wait. This one.
That's right. That's the one. Mm-mm. So
Do
same with Photoshop, you can mouse over and gives you the name of the either the panel or the tool. No?
I drag it here?
Yeah, there
Oh.
you go.
Okay.
Okay. Swatches. You need swatches and artboards. Swatches, gradient, artboards. There you go. Okay. Can you try moving the artboards over here? There you go. Very good. Okay. And then this one you'll have to remove. So click drag this away from. So you have to remove all those. We don't need
Mm,
those.
huh? Wait, how do we do this?
There you go. There, there.
Oh.
Yan. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Now you're done. So very easy, no? You go back to the workspace switcher and then yeah, new workspace and then just type your name, Tiffany, and then space workspace. There you go. Good. Click OK. Then that should be fine. So it should appear there as an option for you. So
Mm,
could you go back to the workspace switcher again? So there, switch to essentials. Okay, and then go back to the workspace switcher again, and then choose your name, the one that you customize. There you go. So that's how it works, no? So um, and then if let's say you made some changes, no, as you are working on this file, you added, removed the panels, but you want to go back to the way it looks like originally. Click on
mhm.
that button, the workspace switcher, and then there's the word reset. Mm, yeah, so you just click on that. No, if you wanna add more workspace, feel free to do that. Go back to the workspace switcher. Okay, and then click on manage workspace down the bottom. Okay, so here, all the customized workspace or anything that you've added, no, it will display here. Okay, and then you may select, you may actually add here or remove. No, so you can click on the workspace and then just click on the bin afterwards, but don't do that yet. So you can actually remove. No,
Okay.
okay, all
Like, for
right. So
example, but like, what if I wanted to go back to the one a while ago before the workspace, like the colors and everything? Is that how do we do that?
oh yeah, we actually chose automation.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Can I?
preset that we selected before you made some changes, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, but it looks different.
Ah, maybe it was painting. I think it was painting. We selected one of the presets. Eh. I think it was painting. Is it that one? No.
Oh, this is the one we changed.
Or
Mm,
printing or typography. It was in essentially one of the options. Eh. Or essentials classic.
maybe essentials. Oh, it looks different. And then the sidebars
There
come.
was a sidebar, no? I can't, it's one of those. Maybe you can try choosing.
Maybe it's this one.
Yeah, I think it's this one because you removed, yeah, all this, eh. Then we moved some of the parts here. Or we can,
But like, where's the colors? Like a while ago, there was the colors.
no, wait, let
Hmm?
me see. Maybe it's painting and then we made some changes there. Try nga painting and then go back and then let's try and reset it. Sige. Go back to the switcher, workspace switcher, and then reset painting. Oh, there.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Mm, okay, okay.
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 Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So, when it comes to any questions so far in terms of the workspace, customizing the workspace?
Nope.
No? Okay, good. So let's go back to creating a new document now. So let me go file new or
Oh.
just yeah, that's fine. And then new, create new. Okay, good. So here you'll see on top of your screen, no, depending on the output that you require, no. So these are categories for new document, which houses like presets that you can choose from. No, these are the most recent based on what Illustrator recognizes what has been used. No, but you can click on saved. You can click on top of your screen this one, no? Let's say mobile. Let's try mobile. Click on mobile here. There you go. So you have a lot of presets here that you can choose from. When you click on each one, no, the preset details will actually appear here. So they will update accordingly. Okay. You may also click on view all presets. No, but these are just the common ones. There's a total of 14 presets that you can choose from. There are online ones that you can download. That's the one that you're actually seeing right now. No, some are free and some may require some payment. So just a reminder.
How do
Okay.
you how do you download it? Do you go
Oh,
to Adobe
so
or
you
like
can let's try that. So let's say for example this one is free, as you can see here. No, you can click on this.
yes?
Uh-uh. There you go, and then click on download. There, see.
Oh, so these are the basics, but like I can still add more from, for example, from Google. Like I'll add. Is that?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Mm-mm. It will just, but again, these are presets. So what happens is, if let's say you download an Illustrator file from the internet, no, using Google browser or whatever, no, you downloaded it.
Mhm.
So what happens is you don't actually create a new document. Rather, you open a file because you downloaded it from the internet, right?
Oh, then what are wait? So the presets though.
This come with Illustrator itself.
Mm. And then these are like the poster itself, or what does presets mean? Like the poster or like the settings?
Just settings. Those
Oh,
are saved settings. Yeah.
oh, okay, wait.
Uh-uh.
What?
Some are templates.
Mm.
Okay. So if have you used Canva before?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So some are templates. So templates would have like elements or objects inside, right? And then you can just manipulate them, no? In
Mm.
this case, because we are creating from new document, no, the ones that you see here that's mentioned here are templates. On
Mm.
top are presets. Those are blank ones
Ah, okay,
with
okay.
just settings. Okay. But here, when you see the word templates, it means that it has some content that you can already edit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. But like, um can I download more templates?
Yes. Mm-mm.
Oh, where can I find that? To
I, j-
Google. Or
yeah,
like,
I just Googled them. Eh. Some, in YouTube, I found like really, well, a couple of Illustrator tutorials, and some would actually have links to sample exercise files or templates.
Mm,
You can just Google them. Mm. Just
okay.
be careful in terms of downloading though, as long as they're not,
Yeah.
doesn't have any virus attached to it.
Like in the Adobe website, can you find some or no?
You can find a lot of exercise files.
Oh, but like not like templates.
Not so much on templates. That's Adobe stock. Normally, it's already incorporated here, just like the ones that you see here. So, for example, you have this one has 21 that you can actually work with.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
So, okay, for example, it's this one.
Yeah, so you can click on open on the right side. There you go. When you get this message, it means that the document actually has a font that's not available in your computer. So
Mm.
but you may actually, um, this message doesn't always appear if there are missing fonts.
Mm.
Okay. This will only appear if the font that's missing in the file is available in Creative Cloud. And when you subscribe in Adobe Illustrator, okay, you're again you have access to the Creative Cloud. Okay. So when you activate this, this is safe. This is fine. You don't get charged for it. It just means that it's gonna activate the
The-
font, mm-mm, for you to be able to view this properly. Okay. So you can activate the font, and it's free of charge.
Okay. Then, so where can I find more fonts? Where do I go?
I normally go to the font,
Oh, like,
dafont dot
yeah.
com. Yeah. It
Oh,
has already a really good like library of free fonts.
but like, how do you incorporate it here? How do you?
You just have to install it in general. You don't so the fonts that Illustrator uses are the fonts that's installed in your computer in general.
Ah, okay, okay.
Same with Photoshop.
Mm.
Okay. As long as it's installed in your computer, it will display as a font available in the program.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, so like, okay. So do I just save it to my laptop?
Yeah. So from the font, have you ever downloaded anything in the font?
Yeah, but like I used it in PowerPoint, so I don't know if it works.
It will work as long as it's installed.
Can we try quickly? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just click on that and wait for it to finish, no, and then
Because it's got
just close it afterwards, no. So
search.
there, there. This is just an icon, an Adobe icon that you can use if you're designing. I think this is useful if you're designing an app, a mobile app.
Oh,
Okay. So just close it. All right. So there you go. So this is one of the templates that you can actually use. See? Now zoom out. Same functionality. Okay.
what are
There.
these?
These are paths. No, these are app icons. If let's say you're designing a mobile application, no, that you want to upload in Play Store, for example, or Apple Store. Okay. You can design interfaces of a mobile app.
So like this
Mm-mm.
is gonna be like paired with the device itself, like the size of the device and everything.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And
Okay. All
then,
right. So you wanted to try and install a font, right?
yeah. Wait, can you see it or no?
I can. I can. So you're looking at the app icon, right?
Oh, wait. Can I wait? I'll stop share. Wait. Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'm just seeing your Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
Mm.
There. Okay.
Okay. Oh, there. Okay.
For example, this one.
Okay.
So I'll download it. And then do I for example it's here, download it. Oh, can you see?
No, I'm still seeing your browser, but I saw that you've already done. I think you've opened the zip file, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't see that. I only see the browser.
How about let me stop share and I'll share again. Hmm. Okay. Oh, can you
Okay,
see it
now I
now?
see it. All
Hmm.
right.
Okay. Here, this one.
There, okay. And then you just double click the TIFF file or the
Oh,
OTF file,
and
and then click on install font. So it's Black House script, right? Black House script. Okay.
do we just leave it at user or do we have to customize?
No, no, just keep it at that. Leave it
Okay.
as it is.
And then it's security.
Yeah. So you can go back to Illustrator.
Yes. Here.
Okay, good. In Illustrator, and then use the type tool. Actually, here, go on your control bar. Let's see. On your control bar here, look for Black House.
Oh, that's a lot. Okay.
You can type the name of the font over
Here.
here. Oh, there. Oh, see. So as long as it's installed, no, it
Uh,
will display as an option. That's
okay.
true for both Photoshop and Illustrator.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So could you go back to the new document window? So you go back to there, new. Okay. And then go to
I
no,
want to remove this one. How do I remove this? The apple, the app icon. Okay,
no,
then
it will just
stay there.
stay there.
Oh,
It will display as well. This section will display all the recent files that you have opened. No,
I
and it will just keep on changing as you continue, working on it. Okay. So click on A4. Okay, hold on. Don't click anything yet now. So on the right side, you can still customize on top of the presets that we were talking about earlier, as well as the templates, no? You may also create your own. All right. So you have width and height over here. You can type values to it in it, no? This one is the unit of measurement on the right side.
mm,
Okay. So you can type values there. This two, no? So this two, you can type values in inches, centimeters, millimeters, no? This one is the default unit of measurement. Okay. So if you click on the drop down menu for this, you have choices, no? So you may use pixels, points, picots, inches, no? Yards, and whatever else you see there, no? So when it comes to so when you start creating, so if let's say you've already created the new document and then you've identified this as your unit of measurement, every time you create something, if you need to measure it, then it will use inches as a default unit of measurement. Okay.
I need to measure.
Yeah, in terms of measurement. So for example, you have to create a square that's 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay, or any other shape that you need to specify the values for the dimensions of the shape. No, it will use whatever unit of measurement that you have set in the first place.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
all right. So just let's choose inches here. Okay. Orientation, of course, the same with, everything else, like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, no? So this one is portrait and then this one is landscape. So you can also choose that. Now, art boards, okay. Think of art boards as number of pages, okay? But they call it art boards here simply because each page can be customized, no? One art board or one page can be like a business card size, so it's 2 inches by 3 inches. One artboard can be like a typical photo size, which is 4 inches by 6 inches. Another artboard can be like a short bond paper size or letter size, and another one can be like a billboard size and whatnot. No, so that's why it's called artboards instead of pages.
Ah, okay.
No, because you can create different sizes, no,
Mm,
of the artboards,
in the
okay,
same file.
in the same file. Yes, no, it's a bit difficult. I don't even think it's possible in Microsoft Word.
Mm.
Right, I think it's just a single page, no, single page size. I'm not sure with PowerPoint. I've never tried that, like changing a
I
specific.
don't think it can.
But in this case, in Illustrator, you can do that. No? So, for example, if from a professional standpoint, no, so let's say I have a business, an online shop, no, I will need a Facebook cover page. I will need, let's say, a Shopee cover page. I need a logo, no. I also need a product list. I need an online brochure. And all those that I just mentioned would require different sizes, right? I can just simply create a single file with multiple artboards with different sizes. Okay? So you can actually have as many as 199 if I'm not mistaken, but I doubt if anybody has actually used all 199 artboards now on a single file. Okay.
Is this
Beads.
also in Photoshop?
In Photoshop, no. It's just a single
Ah, okay.
canvas.
Okay.
Yeah. Before, no. Yeah. Even before you were born. The way it was designed was Illustrator and Photoshop can only handle a single page, just a single canvas, no, in terms of creating artwork, no. If you want multiple page, you use InDesign.
Yeah, I've heard of InDesign, right?
It's like Publisher, Microsoft Publisher.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, that was way before you were born.
Mm.
And then slowly there was they identified, or at least they recognized the need that we need to have multiple artboards in Illustrator to be more efficient.
Mm.
Especially if it's purely line art, but it just needs to have, but it's in on if it's a line drawing, all line drawing, you don't really have a lot of text in it. But it needs to be on different sizes, no, in terms of marketing collaterals, for example. So that's when they added that feature that we can create multiple artboards, but they retained um, Photoshop. No, they did not incorporate that in Photoshop. Only in Illustrator. Because in InDesign, the thing with InDesign is it's like Publisher. No, it's more of text rather than images.
So what's the purpose of InDesign?
InDesign is for like magazines. You have a lot. There's a healthy balance between text, like articles, no, tons and tons of writings, no, and then mixed with either line art or photos, just like a magazine.
So it's like Word document, is it?
Yeah, It's like Word document, but has more creative tools.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. With what's nice about InDesign is it has some, not all, some drawing capabilities as Illustrator.
Mm.
Okay. But in terms of photos, it will still be dependent on Photoshop. So you can import photos, you can import images or drawings from Illustrator and then add in your text. What's great about this is, for example, you're creating a new school newsletter and newspaper. Okay, newspaper. I think that's a better example. So a school newspaper. Um, what is the characteristics of a newspaper? You have your um, main page that shows you headline news, right? And normally, do you have the entire article on that front page?
No.
No, right? Normally, you'd see like just a portion of the
Mm.
headline news, and then at the bottom, it will say something like it will continue to this next page,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. That's
in design, it has some automation features that would allow you to do that.
ah,
Okay. And then if let's say you started with the headline, of course, no, because you identify a lot of the news that should be on the headline page. No, and then you wanted to last minute add a photo because some team member, sent his article with photos, late. Okay. When you incorporate that or put it in InDesign, there's also a way that it will readjust everything else. Because when you move, remember when it comes to newspapers, now you have to move a lot of parts. No, if you add something on the first page, then you'll have to add some the certain portions to different pages then, and
yeah.
it will adjust the entire layout, right? Um, so InDesign can easily do that, no, as compared to Microsoft Word.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And then it can also have it can support vector information. So if you incorporate, graphics from Illustrator that you've actually drawn from scratch, now it will retain that. So the quality is retained. And it saves in InDesign format, which supports both raster and vector, as well as in PDF format. And normally the best practice for printing is in PDF
Mm.
format.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that's also something, but it's a whole different beast. Because in terms of interface, it's slightly the same, but everything doesn't behave the same way.
Okay.
Okay. Um, but it's also a good it's actually a good program to actually learn. Now, in terms of bleeds, okay, I don't know if you actually buy like do you buy magazines?
Mm-mm.
No, everything's online eh. What about graphic novels?
Graphic novels, yes.
Okay. So, actually it's your best for magazines, yeah. But anyway, okay. Well, I can't remember if it also happens with.
You can describe the magazine.
Okay. So for magazines, no, normally when it's a full color magazine, it means that it comes with a healthy balance of text and photos, right? So it has a lot of ads, right? So it
Yeah.
can be a lifestyle magazine. And if you'll notice, the colors are up to the end of the paper.
Yeah.
right? Some don't, no. If I came from a generation where we instead of the internet, we would actually buy magazines and newspapers and whatnot, no. So sometimes if the printer sucks, or the printing, the production of a particular magazine is really bad, no. uh you'll notice that instead of the color appearing up to the edge of the paper, no, sometimes you'll see like white parts, right?
Like border.
Like a border, no? But those are unwanted. Sometimes it's so obvious na it's not supposed to be appearing there.
Mhm.
Parang ano, parang nakat na lampas.
Yeah.
Yung gano'n, no? But sometimes it's more the printer that's the problem, not the cutting. Because normally for magazines, newspapers, no, you have that machine that cuts. And normally
Mm-mm.
that's already accurate in terms of size. So
Mhm.
that means it has something to do with how the printing was done. No, it may not be aligned to the paper. Okay. Bleeding is actually talking about how it's gonna extend the color, no. This bleeding, that's why there's top, bottom, left, and right, no. Bleeding refers to in terms of how the colors are printed. Is it up to the edge, up to the end? Do you want space? No, so that's this part. And normally by default, at least for other projects, no, other than magazines and whatnot, you don't, you just retain it at zero. Okay, but that's this bleeding part, that's what you just have to remember now. It has something to do with how you want the image to be printed in relation to the edge of the paper. Okay. All right. So for the advanced options, you have the color mode, right? Color mode. So again, you have two options there, CMYK and RGB. Raster effects, we'll talk about it on the latter part. No, this is more or less related to effects. No, so we'll table that for now. No, preview. Click on the preview drop down menu. Okay, so you have default, but we'll just choose default on this one. So you have three types of previews, right? So you have default, pixel, and overprint. No, so it's just in terms of how you want to view the artwork. Default means it's actual and vectorized. Pixel means if it were saved in a raster format, how it would actually look like. So you'll get to see like jagged edges, no, if you have that selected. Overprint is if you have like drawings overlapping each other with different opacities applied to them. No, it will just show you how it's gonna look like if it were printed.
Mm.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So let's say you have like 50%, let's say you have two objects now overlapping each other. At the bottom, if we're talking about the stacking order, at the bottom, you have, let's say, a blue square, no, at 100% opacity. And then on top of it, you have like 50% opacity, pink, no. In terms of overprint, because it will print on top of each other, then somehow it will absorb, right? The pink color will be absorbed by the blue and it will produce a different color. So overprint will show you or try to simulate what it would actually look like.
So it will show you the final output or the
Yes, it will try and simulate. Yes, it will show you more or less how it's going to look like if it's printed.
okay.
No. It's not 100% accurate again, huh? Because of the factors that we have to consider. Okay. But most of the time it will show you it that part that's overlapping, that overlapping section will darken. It will always darken, not
Mm.
brighten. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So for us, throughout the class, we will use default. No, there's also another preview that we're gonna talk about in the next session. No? Um, so click on create. Mhm.
Hey, did you have a question? For example,
Yes,
I change it to inches, and then the next time I create a new one, will it be in inches, or it will go back to big point?
it will be from the last one.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
so
whenever.
it's gonna be in inches if this was the last touch that or
Oh.
change that you actually made.
How
Mm-mm.
about the width and height? For example, it's for A4, right? And if
Mm-mm.
I change it, the next time I come back, it's gonna be different already.
You will always every time you okay, so in terms of creating a new file, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if I make the changes now for the width and height for this A4
Uh-huh.
size,
Uh-huh.
time I come back to click the A4, will it be the one I changed or the original A4?
No, the original. Okay, now I understand. So no, it's the original. Once you make some changes here, okay, automatic it's already considered as customized. So you just click on create and that's it. When you go back and then
Mhm.
chose A4 again, it should go back to the original because
Oh,
it's a preset. Okay. All right.
I create or no
Yeah,
need?
just click on create.
Okay.
Okay. Now, now that you've created, no, so let's say you need to save it. Okay. So same as I think same as Illustrator, no, you go file and then save as first. Oh, hold on, don't okay. All right. So you have two options here. You can save on your computer or save as a document cloud. But in our case, we you have to choose the second one, save on your computer, because you're still using a trial version, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So just cancel first. Cancel. Okay. So go back to file.
Save as.
No, no, no. Just leave it at that. Just keep this open, no? So when it comes to saving, you have one, two, three, four. Okay. And then another way of creating the output or saving the output is export. Okay. So remember, when you export, it doesn't save vector information, right? Automatically, when you export, what you need to remember is you cannot open the same file in Illustrator and expect that you'll be able to edit the file 100%.
Okay.
Okay? Now, save as is always going to allow you to type in the file name, right?
Yes.
Save as. Okay. Now, save makes sense if you have already um stored the file with a file name. So save is just a command that will just continue saving the same file in the same location,
Mhm.
right? Okay. Now, what is save a copy? Okay. Save a copy is for the lazy users. So it will just append or add the word copy.
Oh.
Yeah, just the word copy. So let's say click on save as first.
Save as.
Okay, good. So type in let's say your first day. Just type first day as your file name. Okay, did you create a folder already? So just change it. Okay. Change the to your okay, documents. Where did you save your file? Because that's the downloads. Eh.
Uh, oh, I didn't make one yet.
Okay, so you have a new folder over here. See?
Oh, oh yeah. Okay, okay.
But it's gonna be inside the downloads
Yeah.
folder. That's okay. Alright. Okay, good. Alright, so save it. Okay, just click on OK. Don't change anything. Okay, then go back file and then choose save a copy and see what happens. See, oh, it just added the word copy.
Like it's another, so it duplicates it.
Yeah, it duplicates it. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now the other one is okay, so just cancel. I just wanted to show you that. The other one is file save as a template, right? So you go file and then save as template. Okay. Click on that. Okay, hold on. So when you save it the way you have saved it, save the file earlier, the file extension is .ai, right? .ai. In this case, if you are saving it as an Illustrator template, okay, the file extension is .ait. Okay, what is the advantage of the Illustrator template? So you may create, let's say you are assigned in school for your batch's Facebook page, okay, and then you, because you are assigned to the Facebook page of your batch, no, you have been tasked to always post the birthday celebrants, right? So the birthday celebrants, okay. So you create a template, for example, a border, no, and then where you want to put the month and the day, and then you're supposed to add a picture, no, of the birthday celebrant, right? Okay. Now you will always use that frame. And the only thing that you will change is mainly the information, the name of the person, the birthday celebrant, right? But everything else, like the logo of your batch, if let's say you have a logo, no, a team name or a batch name and whatnot, no. So those are standard. So you can create an Illustrator template. What the Illustrator template does is every time you open an Illustrator template, it automatically creates a copy, a
Mm-hmm.
blank copy with a frame. And all you have to do is just insert the picture of the person and also adjust the dates. No, so it creates a copy. Whereas if you were to, let's say, you've created your first birthday celebrant post, no, in .ai, what that means is if another person celebrates his birthday and you have to create a new one, you may open that same file that you have created in Illustrator, make the changes, and then do a save as, and then retype or create a different file name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The risk, okay, the chances of getting that original file corrupted is very high because you keep on using the same file.
Mm, okay.
If you've used it multiple times and should something happens or the system crashes and hopefully it doesn't, no, there's always the risk that it's gonna get damaged. Okay. So the best practice normally is you if it's a layout that you will use multiple times or you anticipate that you will be using for the rest of the year, then save it as an Illustrator template. So every time you need it, it will just create automatically a blank copy, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just adjust it. Okay,
Okay.
there. All right. So that's the difference between the two. Okay. You have a question?
No.
No. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. So yeah. So let me stop your screen share. Okay. Good. And then let me share mine. Okay. All right. So we've covered. Oh, we skipped the no no. And this one you're already familiar with. But the one that I presented, it was just very, very small, a short presentation. So I've attached it here. You may want to watch this. I know we've already watched this now. Vector versus raster, and then what is Adobe Illustrator. We've covered this. You've already done the exercise. Very good. This one is we covered, creating a new document, the fields that you need to be familiar with, right? We'll have to do this. No, actually, you can do this as your assignment. No, um, you can submit it anytime before next Saturday. Okay, so you create a new document. In the new document window, choose print. Okay, and then choose A4 size. Okay, so follow the instructions here. Change the orientation to landscape, and then you need four artboards. Okay, so just be mindful on the right side of the new document window. No, that's where you type in number four. No, and then go file save as, and then use your name as a file name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then save the file in your folder, and then just submit it here.
Okay.
Okay, just submit it here. All right. And then the assignment that you also have, you can do this on Friday, no? Friday night, once you're free, no? Creating artboards, no? This is customizing the artboards once you're inside Illustrator, not just creating a new document, no? So once you're inside and you decide to like adjust the size of the artboards and whatnot, there's three videos that you would want to watch. Okay, so that's almost, yeah. So it's barely 10 minutes long, no? Download this one. This has the exercise files if you want to practice and follow the videos, no?
So I have to do this before our next session also.
Yes. So
Okay.
at least Friday, on Friday night, that's fine.
So that
Mm-mm.
I can remember.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then there's an exercise also here, no? The artboard exercise instructions. So we can follow. We'll do this. Don't do this yet. No, we'll do this together on Saturday. No,
So
just watch the video, but don't do this. This has a different set of instructions.
so the
So
video and then does it.
yes. Mm.
Okay.
And then we'll work together on this one.
Okay.
Okay. And then so for day two, we'll just do the download, no, on next Saturday, so you don't get confused. So that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So do you have any questions before we end the session?
So next session we're gonna continue what we didn't finish for day one, right? The bit.
The art boards, yes.
And then I'll do assignment one,
Mm-hmm.
two assignment before.
Yes.
Okay. Yep, that's it.
Okay. All right. So you can take your lunch and happy weekend, Tiffany. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
All
See
right.
you.
See you.
Bye bye.